but this is the danger point. I don't think we're going to get through without any rerolls, so let's see. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we're doing my March TBR game. A very, very simple game. I roll a 6 coloured sided dice a minimum of 5 times. The colour relates to a little figure that's sitting on top of a stack of prompts. I have to fill each prompt with a separate book, and if the same colour comes up twice, we do a reroll. So it's anywhere between 5 to 7 books for me to read for the month. And as always, I have one of those prompts for you to choose one of the books. I will give you 2 options and you have to choose one of them that I will read. That's it. Nice and simple, and I don't think I need to say anything else. I don't have any books planned or anything going on this month, although I am filming this way in advance just because that's when I have the time to do it, so this is what we're doing. So if anything changes, I will do updated readathon videos as and when, but as it stands right now, I have no books that I have to read for this month, so it's going to be nice and chill. So let's just get on with choosing and prompt. Let's give them a good shuffle. Okay, let's go here. Okay, one went on the floor, but we have this one. A classic. I haven't been reading many classics over the last couple months, but it would be nice to add in an extra one. Okay, anyway, let's get to roll number 1. The first roll for March. Green. Not bad, let's see. Oh. A reread. The first roll started off really nice with a reread, and this book should come as no surprise. In December, I started a reread of the Stormlight Archive, and I really enjoyed it, absolutely loved it, and I read the first book, The Way of Kings, Part 1, and I was going to go and read Part 2 straight away, but I just haven't. And so for the reread, I'm going to go with Way of Kings, Part 2. Finally getting there, just a few months late. But it's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, the Stormlight Archive is a reread I want to do, but I do want to do it slowly. I want to slowly annotate. I didn't annotate loads, but I want to slowly do that, see if there's things that I can connect together, especially because I am up to date with the series, so I would really like to reread all of it in preparation for the 5th book coming out. So that's the plan. This is an epic fantasy series. It's very, very expansive and I adore it. In this first book, we are mainly following Kaladin. Kaladin is someone that was a soldier in the army. However, he then got put into slavery, and now he's at the army that he was trying to get to because there is this massive war going on against the Parshendi and the Alethi. There's been this massive war because the Parshendi assassinated the Alethi king. This war has been going on for absolutely years, and Kaladin, when he was a soldier, aspired to get there to the Shattered Plains, to where this war is taking place, and he's ended up there, just not exactly how he thought he would get there. You also have this really good magic system that's in play, but it's done really well. Brandon Sanderson has a really good way of introducing the magic system slowly, so you slowly get to know it. It doesn't feel info dumpy in any way, and because Kaladin had no idea what this magic was, he is learning it at the same time. Where this book left off in the middle of in the middle of the book technically, but at the end of part 1, it left off in a really, really good position where you've just learned something about Kaladin, and now we're going to see the fallout from all of that. We are also following Shallan, and Shallan is a young woman who is trying to save her family from persecution from moneylenders, and to do this she tries to become an apprentice to the king's sister. And she manages this, but she's also trying to pull off a theft. So it's really interesting. Shallan, I have to admit, is not my favourite character in this series, but I like her perspectives nonetheless. But the main person that we're following is Kaladin, and you do get flashbacks to his past. Very excited to carry on with my read of this, even if it has been a few months. Okay, new prompt. This one. Animal on the cover. Roll number 2. The second roll. Oh, that went flying, but that is a purple. I will now fix this. And that's an anticipated read. The second prompt is anticipated read, and I'm going to leave this one up to you. I have 2 different fantasy books. We're really going for a fantasy theme this month. And I have God Killer and The Witcher, The Last Wish. Now, The Last Wish is a collection of short stories in the world of The Witcher. This one I have been umming and ahhing about whether to pick up. I love the beautiful edition of this. It's the illustrated edition, hence why I ended up picking it up. I've watched the TV series and I really enjoyed it, and I do believe the TV series was based on these short stories. I'm intrigued. I keep putting off reading these, so yeah, that's one option. The other option is God Killer by Hannah Kenner, and this is one that I picked up because of how beautiful it is. It was also on my anticipated releases for January and February. This one is a fantasy standalone. So we have the beginning of a series with fantasy short stories and a fantasy standalone. This one all about a person that is a god killer, goes around killing gods until she comes across a god that she can't kill. This one kind of same in a way. We have the Witcher, who is someone that goes around killing monsters. As a result, he is despised by other people because he's necessary, but also they don't want to pay him for what he does. So it's very interesting. We have two people that are good at killing things. Just let me know which one you'd rather I read. Choosing another prompt. Let's go to the back this time. Thrifted Book. That's something I haven't done in a little while actually, is popping around the local charity shops and having a little rummage for some books. I've been buying a lot of brand new books. I haven't been thrifting many. Should probably do that to save money, but we'll see. Anyway, roll number 3. The third roll. Orange. A classic. Roll number 3 was a classic, which is fine. I don't mind that. There is a classic book that I've been thinking about picking up for a little while, and that is Ovid's Metamorphoses. This is a collection of different short stories, and I believe some of them poems. I could have that slightly wrong. Or are they all epic poems? It's Greek myth, so I think they're all epic poems like the Iliad and the Odyssey. But this is one that I've been thinking about reading for a little while. I probably won't read all of this, but there are definitely some select ones that I want to read in this book. So it does give you a breakdown of book 1, book 2 and what they have in them. I will try and read quite a bit because in all honesty I like reading the originals to see how all the retellings that we get today have been inspired, but there's definitely a few that I really want to focus on. A lot of this is all to do with transformation, so you'll have Medusa and other ones where women have been changed into things. You've got in book 7 there's Medea and Jason, so I'm really interested in that. That'll be really good, especially because I read a Greek myth that mentioned Medea very, very loosely. A Greek myth retelling, I should say. It wasn't a great one, but it was there. We also have one about the Minotaur, which will be really interesting. You've got Orpheus and Eurydice, which is another retelling. I think there's going to be one coming out, so I would like to read the original to that. So I think I'm just going to go through and pick out. This is a book that I will be reading throughout the month, and when I want to dip in, I can. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It is harder to read because it is an epic poem, and also the formatting in this, the text is absolutely tiny. But I have read the Iliad and I now know what to expect with that there's quite a bit of repetition. Whether this is going to be the same because it's a different author, I don't know. But I have been really feeling this. So this is one that might take me maybe March and April to do. But I'm happy to do that because this is definitely one that I've been thinking about a lot. So yeah, I would like to do that. Okay, choosing our 4th prompt, or a potential 4th prompt. Anyway, a bright cover. This is the point where the rerolls start happening. To be fair, actually, we've had rerolls earlier than this, but this is the danger point. I don't think we're going to get through without any rerolls. So let's see. Roll number 4. Blue. Can you see that? Blue. This is going weirdly well. Under 250 pages. Well, I don't know what's happening because we still haven't had our reroll yet, but this prompt is under 250 pages, so this TBR is weirdly nice. I'm gonna say that with touching wood at the same time because we all know it could change. But for this one I've actually gone with Agatha Christie's The Body in the Library, which is the 2nd book in the Miss Marple series. This was an option for last month for you to choose between, and a different one got chosen. But I would really like to continue on with my Agatha Christie reading, and I do enjoy having a murder mystery on my TBR each month. So I think it would be nice to break up some of the fantasy and the heavy classic with a cozy murder mystery, which is what I see Agatha Christie's writing as. This one I mentioned before, we don't know too much about it, I don't want to know too much about it, but we've obviously found a body in the library and it's all gonna go from there. Love the cover, very excited to actually get to this one, and yeah, that's pick for number 4. So now we've got to choose another prompt for number 5, but I feel like it's all gonna go terribly wrong. There is no way we're going to get away with having no rerolls. It never happens. I think it's happened maybe once last year, and that was it. So I don't think it's going to happen. So I think this last one we're going to end up with 3 books that we've got to try and do for 1 roll. But let's see, hopefully I'm wrong. I mean, I don't think so, but we'll see. Okay, and this one is a new to me author, which is very handy because there is quite a few authors that I would like to get to. But okay, fingers crossed. Roll number 5. The last roll, question mark. Oh, that's not the last roll. Okay. Orange, bright cover. Choosing a new prompt. Let's go this one. Fantasy or sci-fi. The first reroll. Yellow. That is surprising. And that's historical fiction. Well, we got a reroll, but it was only 1, so that is not as bad as it could have been. So the first roll was a bright cover, and for this one I am going with The Last Girl by Goldie Moldovisky, or if you have the US edition, it is the Mary Shelley Club. This is one that I've just been putting off for a very long time. I picked it up last year at YALC, which is the YA Literature Convention. Just because it seemed interesting and the person there really sold it to me, and I got it for £3. I was actually going to get the Mary Shelley Club in Forbidden Planet because I loved that cover, I loved the title of it all. I'm very disappointed that the UK is such a completely different cover and title, because I don't think there's any correlation between the two. It's only when you read the synopsis that it's very similar, and it mentions here that our main character Rachel is recruited by the Mary Shelley Club, and that's what made me go, oh, is this the continuation then? Like, is the first book the Mary Shelley Club and this is the second book? And then I found out no, it's exactly the same book. So I think that's really off-putting, which is a shame, but I am intrigued by this. This is a YA thriller, which I read. I mean, I love YA murder mysteries. I read 5 Survive by Holly Jackson, which is a YA thriller, and I really enjoyed that. So I do think YA thrillers is something that I can really get into. So this was me picking up a couple of those at YALC to see if I enjoyed it. So yeah, it's about time I actually read it, because I think it's been almost a year on my TBR and I've not picked it up. So it's about time. That one, I should say, is all about, like, obviously our main character Rachel gets roped into the Mary Shelley Club and she has to pass these levels of like fear tests, and I believe some people actually die or something like that. And then the second prompt is historical fiction, and again I've decided to go with another book that's been on my TBR for a while. I actually picked it up at the same time as I picked up The Last Girl, and that's Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn. This is the second book in the Monstrous Design series. Oh, is this the second book? I do get them mixed up, and I think I've had them in the wrong order. I've done it again, hang on. I always do this with this series. Even when I was at the YALC convention, I picked up Monstrous Design first, and thankfully the author, Kat Dunn, was there and said, actually no, that's the second book, this is the first book, and I always get it wrong, and it was on my shelves in the wrong order as well. So this is the book that I will be reading for historical fiction, and that's Monstrous Design by Kat Dunn, the second book to the Dangerous Remedy series. This is a series that I am intrigued by. It's been inspired by Frankenstein, and that was automatically a pickup and I wanted to get it. Kat Dunn, because I saw her at YALC, obviously, because she told me, hey, you picked up the wrong book, signed my book as well, so I was really happy with that. And the first book, we're following a group of people that live in France. It's just after the French Revolution, so it's been inspired by that as well. And they just are doing jail breakouts for people that are wrongfully imprisoned, and they break out this one particular girl. She's had an iron mask on her face, and they realise that she is slightly unique, and a lot of bad things come as a consequence of setting her free. Not from her, but what they get tangled up in is a lot of political things. There are so many different things that's involved with this one girl. And then this is going to be the second book continuing on from that, and it actually takes place, part of it in London, part of it in Paris, which I'm very excited about. So it is set in London 1794, so I'm very, very excited to continue on. I just keep putting off the series, which I shouldn't do, but I have done, so I need to actually continue on with it. So the last two prompts are books that I need to finally get round to reading. But you know what? This is not a bad stack, to be fair. It could have been so much worse, but we only have 6 books to read, which is nice because it gives me a lot of room for mood reading. But let's go through it. So we have a historical fiction pick, which is Monstrous Design. Bright cover, we're going with The Last Girl. The spine really isn't bright, but it's bright on the cover. Then we have a book under 250 pages, which is going to be The Body in the Library. A classic book is a bit more chunky. We're going with Ovid's Metamorphoses, but as I said, I probably won't read all of this. It is going to be a book that's going to take me a few months to get through, but I will be definitely cherry picking my favourite ones to read next month, or to read this month. For reread, we're going with Way of Kings Part 2, finally continuing on a few months late. And finally we have the book that you will need to choose for the month, which is for anticipated read, and that's either The Witcher, The Last Wish, or God Killer. Both of them are going to be really good. You know what, this isn't a bad stack. We've got quite a bit of fantasy, but it's broken up with a classic, a thriller, and a murder mystery, so that's not actually too bad. I'm enjoying the stack, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know, I really want to read both of these books, so if I have time, maybe I'll do that, but that's not bad. That's not a bad stack at all. But let me know what one you think I should prioritise out of God Killer and The Last Wish. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you're excited for any of my thoughts on any of them, you know, all the things. But that's it for today, so let me know what you're going to be reading in the month of March. What are you excited to get to? Are you continuing on with anything? All the things. And thank you so much for watching. So if you made it this far, then let's put a book emoji. Let's just go with a classic book because I really cannot think right now. So let's go with a book emoji if you made it this far. And always thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe and comment to let me know that you're here. Those 3 things are so important to helping this channel grow. My social media links will be linked below as always, and I will of course catch you in the next video.